special, whoosh, out of the blue mobility overhaul. We're not even going to number this one, we're just going to call it a special one. You're going to need your foam roller. We're going to do the full body. Of course, we're not going to get the whole full body and every nitty-gritty part of the full body done in this class. But what I'm going to do is pick the key areas that we usually need a lot of work on. For those who have been following along with the mobility overhaul classes, you'll know exactly what you're doing. So when we get to a point and you're pretty happy, get straight into it. Make the most of the time. For others, I'll be explaining it like you've never done it before. 2 minutes each side when we're doing the foam rolling is what we're going to be working on. That doesn't mean to say that you should be trying to get the whole area done, okay? The whole point in this is we're trying to make an improvement on a painful spot, a problem area if you like. We don't just try and rush through the whole muscle group that we're on at the time, but I'll explain more as we go. First things first, because what else would come first? I want you to get your foam roller. Now this is not rocket science, please don't overthink this. All you're trying to do is inflict as much discomfort and pain to some degree on the area that you're working on here, okay? It'll be an isolated area, as in it's painful on the foam roller. It's not going to be shooting pains up your leg, etc. That's not good, but I'd leave that down to common sense. What I want you to do is get your foam roller out, and all I want you to do is get just above the heel as you start to delve into the ankle, just above the ankle joint, I would say. Get above the Achilles tendon and just start going side to side, everybody. Do not with a foam roller. A lot of people just get guilty of, pretending you're on an ironing board and just going like this and going, oh, that feels good. Oh, I'm doing a lot. You're doing nothing, okay? You're doing hee-haw, okay? Get it on, side to side. And all we're trying to do is look for a spot of pain, a spot of discomfort, and that's where for you, it's a personal thing, okay? Now I'm trying to push down onto the foam roller, and the simple way to think of it is I'm trying to crush the foam roller, crush. I feel out of sorts because we're doing a mobility class at night time. I'm a creature of habit, you see. So you're trying to crush the muscle tissue between the foam roller and the bone. Doesn't it sound nice? And it's not, but it's necessary. So all I'm doing is going side to side, and now I'm starting to feel like, oh geez, a good bit of discomfort and pain. When you find a good bit of discomfort and pain, have a quick feel around the area around it and make sure you find the dead center of that pain and discomfort, that knotted up muscle tissue. So I've found mine and it's pretty disgusting. In fact, it's really disgusting. I can barely put weight on it. Where did that come from? I want you to then, phase one, when you get that painful spot, is to start putting pressure on it. So I'm going to start pushing into the foam roller. While you're pushing into the foam roller, have a wee wiggle forward and backward, side to side. Now if you can see me, it's a very limited bit of movement because I'm trying to stay on the area that's, well, the painful area. I don't want to be going to the extremes of going off and on of it. I'm trying to break up that tight spot, okay, that knotted up tissue. And the idea is we do this until there's an improvement. So this is where a lot of people go wrong. They go wrong because they just aimlessly go around the whole muscle group. We should be finding that painful spot and striving to feel an improvement before we move on to another painful spot. Okay, and then the second bit is a lot of people will just be sitting here just now putting a wee bit of weight on there thinking, oh, that's quite nasty, but oh, that's quite nice. No, you really need to be applying as much weight. The more pain and discomfort you can handle on this, the more you're going to get out of it. So on that note, I've still got the calf muscle nice and relaxed. Okay, I'm putting more weight down on it, but now it's feeling like I can't get much more weight on there. So what I want you to do then is get the leg, the opposite leg, yep, and use the weight of that to push down. You don't even need, you might be able to handle bridging up, so you can see how now I'm pushing my hands into the ground and bringing the butt off the ground, so now I'm getting as much weight as I could possibly get in there, and start the whole forward and backward, side to side, okay, and it's got to be, you can't go hell for leather and just try to inflict too much pain on yourself because then you won't be relaxed. It's better to do it in stages. Now, the whole time I'm on here, I'm active, I'm proactive, I'm not just lying aimlessly on my foam roller, I'm trying to break up that horrible pain. Okay, so part one, the tool that we use first is pressure. We call it pressure wave, which is what we're doing now. We're trying to put pressure and weight onto that painful area with just that little wiggle to try and break it up. Imagining it's a massage, somebody's elbow's in there trying to break up that knot. That's exactly what we're doing here. Second bit is we can contract and relax the muscle group that we're trying to foam roll here. So we do that, contract the muscle group, relax, and when you contract and relax, that contraction followed by the relax is going to help make the foam roller feel like it's sinking into that knot all the more. So don't overthink it. Don't think there's a set way of doing this. You find pain, you find discomfort, and you just try to break it up using the foam roller. So I've done my contract and relax a few times. Now, if you're struggling to contract the calf muscle, that's just practice, okay? I can't tell you how to do that. You have to work out the motor skills in your own head. How do I get my calf muscle to contract? No, that's my quads. No, that's my big toe, okay? You need to work that one out for yourself. Like I say, it's like learning how to lift one eyebrow instead of both, okay? It takes a bit of practice to learn the motor skills needed for that. So I've been on here a wee while. The final thing we can do, I'm gonna move this foot off, keep your foot on, is what we call smash and floss technique, okay? So I'm pinning that painful area down, and now I'm gonna pin it down hard, keeping it relaxed. I'm gonna smash and floss by moving the foot around, okay? I want you to make circles with your foot while you pin that painful spot with the foam roller, okay? And this is when it gets pretty brutal. The more pain and discomfort you can handle, the better. But there's a line, okay? You don't want to be taking it to the point where you're not relaxed. So as I'm moving this foot up and down and making circles with it, okay, all I'm doing here is lengthening and shortening and letting that muscle grind under that foam roller, okay? So it's helping further break things up. So that's our process. We put as much weight down on it. We try to get as much possible weight on, trying to break up that knotted up area. That's our pressure wave. We can get in it with contracting and relaxing the muscle group. Okay, that's our second technique, and the third technique we use is the smash and floss, which we can't do in every single muscle group, but you know, if you've got a joint attached nearby, moving it around, such as here, we've got the foot. If it was the quads, we could bend the knee. If it was the glutes, we could lift the hips up. That's the whole smash and floss. So what I want you to do is change. Now, most of us probably only got 2 minutes on one painful spot. I know it was slightly longer than 2 minutes, but again, I'm trying to teach you as if we've never done this before. Get on the other side. Might as well get on the other side and start a fresh leg while I talk. Same process, okay? So I'm starting just above the Achilles. I don't want to be on the tendon. You'll feel the tendon. We don't want to foam roll the tendon. Start working your way up, side to side, and you're just having a quick browse, if you like, a quick scan over the area, side to side. Right, there's a wee bit of pain. Oh, it's getting worse. Oh, right, okay, that's definitely a painful spot I've found. So what do? I start rocking back and forward, side to side, to just make sure that I can find the dead center of that pain. Ground zero, if you like, okay, the worst part of it. You might need to do, and sorry, the reason why we're doing the side to side and up and down is think of it as a big, well, here we go, better choose my words wisely. Big forest. Think of a big forest, okay, you're trying to move the branches out of the way to get a better look in there. So that's what we're doing with the muscle tissue, okay? I'm trying to move all the kind of muscle tissue around to just try and get in deeper, just to get right on the worst spot. So that's me, I'm on it now, okay? And there's no point looking and going, where's the on there? This is going to be specific to you. Where all your knotted up, painful areas are, that's specific to you. But I'm talking you through once you find it here, okay? So I've found it, and now I'm just trying to push as much weight down on there as I can. I could just get that leg over it, bridge up, and that would be putting maximum weight on, but I know if I did that now, it would be far too much. I'd be tense, and I'd probably pass out and puke up at the same time, okay? So it's pretty nasty, this stuff, but not for everybody, okay? Some people might be pretty supple in key muscle groups compared to others, so some people might be finding this all right. If you are finding it all right, just make sure you're doing it properly is all I'm saying, because in a common area like the ankles, probably going to find that most people have got a lot of problem areas that need work on it. So it's quite easy just to do this half-arsed. So if you're just lying there thinking, it's all right, this is a wee bit nice, not too bad, you don't want to put too much weight on there or it'll start getting nasty. Nah, okay, we need it. We need to put that weight on there. So now I've got the weight of the other leg on there, I'm pushing down into that knotted up area, keeping it kind of rocking back and forward, up and down. So that's the first part. So what's the second part? Once I feel that, you know what, I'm getting maximum weight on here, it's pretty disgusting, I can accept the pain, as in it's not nice, but I'm managing to keep that muscle group relaxed. That's what I mean about accepting the pain, okay? Well, next phase then is another technique, we're contract and relax. So what I'll do now is stay on the painful spot, just make sure I'm still on dead center, pin it down, and then contract the muscle group, relax the muscle group. Contract, relax, okay? And you keep that sequence going. Don't wait for me to tell you, okay? You're working through this process. I'm talking you through it very in detail now while we're on the calves. But this process that we're going through now, that's the process you apply to any muscle group. that you're foam rolling. Contract, relax. Okay, so what's my next one? I'll move the foot out of the way so you can see, is the smash and floss. So I'm pinning as much weight down on there, pinning that painful spot, and then I'm going to lift the toes, I'm going to push the toes away. Trying to keep my face nice and relaxed, okay? It doesn't do you well to screw the face up and have a pain face for 5 minutes, okay? It's no good. Try to keep relaxed as you can. So please, I know there'll be people on here tonight that don't always get a chance to do the mobility stuff, but please, there's nothing complicated about this. Everything I've just talked you through in depth now with the calves, you can do on the quads, you can do on the hamstrings, you can do on the glutes, you can do on the back, you can do on the triceps. Any muscle group we can do this on, okay? So don't overthink it. Sometimes people just get a wee bit complicated. If you find yourself a wee niggle, a wee ache and pain, relax there everybody. After exercise or creeping in, find it with the foam roller or the ball. What's the difference between the two, okay? They both do the same job. Look at the foam roller as for your big muscle groups, okay? The big muscle groups, it lets us kind of get into a bigger surface area, but the ball comes in and it lets us get into those nooks and crannies. It gets deeper in the muscle tissue. You'll find that for certain muscle groups like the back, the foam roller's okay, but to really get in the nooks and crannies, you're better with the ball. And sure, you can use the ball on what we've just done there, okay? But they both have their purpose. Try them both out, and you'll find what works best. Right, so we've done the mobility work. We've done our best to break up that muscle tissue, all that knot, restore a bit of movement to the actual muscle group itself. Now, we're going to lengthen it out with a bit of flexibility work. So I'm using a bench. This bench is solid. I could push all my weight into this bench and it's not going anywhere. It has to be a fixed item. Best thing for you at home is a wall. If you've got a wall, make sure you're not just putting your sock up against it and your foot's just sliding off. You need to be able to lean back, get the foot nice and high, get those toes nice and high up the wall, which is going to get your heel nice and close to the wall. And you should feel that you can push all your weight into that foot and it's not going to budge. It needs to be anchored, okay? Then what I want you to do is have a slight bend in the knee. I want you to bend the knee, push the knee forward. That is going to start introducing the stretch down towards the Achilles area, okay? Down towards your actual ankle joint. We need that bend in the knee, everyone. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to start shuffling towards the wall, bench, or whatever you've got your foot wedged in, and that is going to get more weight down. So that's me now getting more body weight down. And what I want you to do once you get to that position is I want you just to rock the knee back and forward slightly, just a few times, and that's going to help just relax. Because a lot of people are on here, they're going to be very tight in the ankles, and if it's severely tight, you'll struggle to feel a stretch. The ankles will just fight it, okay? If it's that tight, you'll find it's fighting it. So what I want you to do is just a gentle rock back and forward will help loosen it off a wee bit. Okay, that's it, it's relaxed. Flexibility. So let me talk you through the process for this now. You're at the start point, as in you've taken it as far as you can, and now you're holding it, and it's feeling like it's at maximum stretch. The process now is to focus on your breathing, try to relax, and then take it a wee bit further. So this is where you might need to step a wee bit closer. Okay, but what I want you to always think about is pushing that knee forwards. Pushing that knee forward is going to keep the stretch and enhance the stretch down towards the ankle joint itself. What we're not focusing on here is the actual calf muscle, the meaty bit of muscle halfway up. We're focusing on the ankle joint, okay? All those tendons, ligaments, muscle, it's all tight, it's all jammed. So we're trying to restore a bit of movement in the joint itself. So we've been holding it now for a good minute, more than a minute, I know. So at this point, we're trying to take it as far as we can. Push the knee forwards. Whoa. Feeling that now, keep it going, okay? Don't hurt yourself. Again, I would like to think that that's common sense. No one should be deliberately hurting themselves, but I want you to do your best to take this as far as you can. It's a fine line. Push down while pushing the knee forwards. And slowly relax there. And what I want you to do before we go into the next leg is just walk around. Let the blood flow back into that joint. You've been walking around, you've not been walking around. You've been restricting the blood flow into that joint. So I just want you to have a wee shake about, boop, 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 and then change legs, okay? So we're combining the mobility work with the flexibility work. So we're hitting the ankles up. If you're struggling, if your ankles are real tight, you're going to struggle to lift your toes up high enough to get the ball of your foot on the wall. So if you're struggling, all you need to do is just lean back, okay? So you need to kind of lean back to get the toes high up. Before you even start moving, you should feel like you're getting a stretch. So I've not even started trying to move forward. I've not even tried to put weight down. I'm already feeling like I'm getting a stretch. So I'm going to shuffle forward. And this is where, like I say, if you're pretty damn tight in the ankle, just try to just introduce a little bit of a wobble. Forward knee, just to try and help ease it off. Okay, and there we go. So then start the process off. Right, I'm at max stretch. It feels not very nice. It's not very comfortable. Okay, but now I'm just going to focus on my breathing. And as I say, when we're always doing the flexibility work, it's not that you're focusing on the breathing to relax the muscle. When the muscle relaxes, it's not that it suddenly feels nice and comfortable. It's just that I'm able to take it a tiny wee bit further. So in theory, it's getting more and more uncomfortable as you go. So with the flexibility work, you should be striving to go further and end further than when you started the stretch. We're trying to develop mental stretching, this is called, better ourselves, okay? It's like fitness. You're getting to that point, you're struggling, and you're just going to try and push a wee bit harder, increase the stress from last time you worked out, and that's what's going to force you to get better. If you're just taking it to the point it's uncomfortable and holding it there where it feels like a nice stretch, you're doing good, yes, you're maintaining, but most of us could do with getting better flexibility and mobility, so please push it, make the most of it. Good, and keep pushing, keep pushing. Good, and slowly, and I say slowly, I don't want you to rush out and hurt yourself, just slowly get out of it, walk around. If you need a drink of water, so be it. So now, while I'm talking, you're going to need your thick resistance band. If you've only got a thin one, fear not. Double it up. If you don't have a resistance band, fear not, you can use a towel. Don't go and get it yet though. Right, this is where you're going to need a hard seat, a hard coffee table, something that looks like my bench here, but it's hard, okay? Or you can use the floor. The floor is a last resort though. I would rather you had something to sit on. We're going to quickly foam roll, do a bit of mobility work in at the hamstrings here, okay? So you're going to be doing this sort of thing, just to give you a heads up. So I would like you to get something similar to this. It doesn't work if it's a big spongy seat because the ball will just sink into it. You can use the floor, everybody. There's nothing wrong with using the floor, but it's a last resort. Why? Because it's not as effective. What we do when we use the floor is we stretch out and open up the hamstrings more. We expose the sciatic nerve, so you've got a higher risk chance of whacking the sciatic nerve with this, which is going to mean your wee toes are going to start feeling a wee bit tingly, or you're going to be getting shooting pains down your legs. So if you feel that at any point on this one, ease off. Probably common sense again, but I would like to think if you're rolling about in the foam roller and your toes are doing weird things, it's probably a good idea to stop anyway. Can you see me? Yes, you can. Right, hamstrings. People will probably ask, where the hell's your hamstrings? Very quickly, you've got your glutes, your butt cheek. I want you to grab your own butt cheek, and at the bottom of your butt cheek, that is where the hamstrings start. Well, it doesn't start there, but that's where you're going to get stuck into it, okay? So we're going from underneath the butt, you've got all this length of area down here to the back of the knee. That's all you need to know. You're going to get the ball, you're going to start here, you're going to go side to side, work your way down, just like we did on the calf muscles, until you find a bit of pain and discomfort. It's as simple as that, and that's what I mean. People overcomplicate things. Where's my hamstrings? What's the connective point called? What's it? It doesn't matter, okay? All you need to do now is sit on the ball, start just under the butt cheeks, so stay off the glutes. You're guaranteed to feel pain in the glutes. We're not doing the glutes yet, so don't go too far up the butt. So I'm starting just below, and all I want you to do is go side. Oh, there she is. You might not have to go too far, everybody. I've just found it. Right. Jeez, oh man, I nearly hit the ceiling. Right. So there's no line. I found my spot. It's nasty. So what I want you to do though, if you're struggling, is just go side to side. You maybe react like I did. Okay, big Jesse, you'll be thinking. Side to side until you find a sore spot, okay? Putting a wee bit of weight on. As soon as you find a wee bit of pain, okay, usual thing, just like before. Play around the area, move around, side to side, back forward, just to try and get stuck in there. Right, that's the dead center of the pain in there. Okay, so now I'm on there. You can't see it, but I'm sitting on the ball. That's the worst spot for me. So now all I'm trying to do is think back to the calf. I'm sitting here, it looks like I'm just chilling out. Definitely not. Okay, I'm breaking a sweat here with the pain. So I want you just to kind of relax, try to get as much weight down on there. I want you to think, especially because this is a big muscle group, think about that ball. Okay, I want you to imagine that the muscle tissue is wrapping around the ball, it's sinking into the hamstrings. Now, you can see my foot sitting at 90 degrees, that's for no reason really. So what you can start doing is to get more weight down on it. You're obviously, it depends on the size of the bench or whatever it is you're sat on. If your leg's freely hanging, you're going to have more weight on it. But all I'm trying to do, all I'm really trying to do is try and concentrate on what I'm saying while this thing hurts like hell, if I'm honest with you. So I'm pushing down into it. What you can do is lean on it. So to get more weight on it, just get your arm pushed down even more. Remember, side to side, up and down. Side to side, up and down. Okay, I'm just doing the same as before. Trying to get as much weight on here, trying to break up that muscle tissue. Just imagine that ball is somebody's elbow, you found a knot, you get stuck in there, try and break it up. That's all you're using here. Whatever it is, wherever it is, okay? So you can see the hamstrings, we've got a big area to cover here. So rather than just rush through it, go up and down and try and do the whole area, there's no real point. Spend quality time on a key area. 2 minutes each side is all we need to make an improvement. If you're putting the work in, if you're just sitting on that ball continuously like this, you're not going to get much from it. So I want you to try to get an improvement on that area before you move on, which for most people is going to be the maximum time we'll do now on it. So contract, relax. Again, you're going to have to work out the motor skills needed to contract your hamstrings. If you're struggling, have your foot on the floor, push your foot into the floor, and you'll find that you might be able to contract your hamstrings that way. Think of your biceps on your arm. How do you contract them? Everybody knows how to feel my guns. Okay, same thing. The hamstrings are like the biceps of the leg. So imagine you're trying to do it with the bottom half of your leg. Contract, relax. Okay, contract, relax. How do we smash and floss it here? You're asking this position. Good question. So it's pretty easy, and this is where there's a high chance I'm going to pass out. So straighten the leg, straighten the leg out. Oh, straighten the leg out and then bend the leg in. And depending on the height of what you're sat on, if you're sat on something that is, okay, how far in you get the leg is really dependent if you've got enough room. Now if you're on the floor, you might not have this luxury, but you might be able to kind of work it out for yourself. But this is the reason also why we're sat down. So here we are. Break it up, that's all I'm trying to do. Stay on that spot, break up that muscle tissue, break up that knot, try to make everything nice and supple and free up a bit of slack in the muscle tissue itself. So again, people might be new to this mobility stuff and they're used to just the stretching. You can be flexible but not mobile and vice versa, okay? So that's why it pays to do both. Right, okay, I want you to, very quickly here, let me talk you through it. Before we move on, we're going to do exactly what I said not to do at the start. Go side to side, and I want you to imagine your hamstrings, okay? Imagine them as big, thick guitar strings running down from your knee to your butt, okay? Obviously behind the leg here. Imagine with the ball, you're just simply going side to side on those guitar strings, working against the grain of the tissue, and that's how we work down, okay? So don't roll backwards and forwards. By going side to side, you're going to help open it up and get in a bit deeper. Side to side, side to side. So I want you to work the full length, because we've only spent 2 minutes, haven't we? Well, I know it's been a wee bit longer, but we've only spent 2 minutes working on that kind of one area. Within the hamstrings, we've got a whole load of extra area to be working on. What you can do by doing that quick scan of the whole area is see for yourself where the other painful spots are. So the idea is, you know, quick day, okay, my hamstrings need a hell of a lot of work. You might have identified that from doing mobility. My hamstrings are tight, they feel horrible when I foam roll them. So 2 minutes each day is all you need to get an improvement. So last time I done it, I got just below the butt. I didn't get very far, so I made a bit of an improvement on that area. So this time I'll go a wee bit further to the next painful spot. I'm going to spend 2 minutes on that. So bookmark, if you like, in your head where you got to last time. Right, I'm going to change legs. Simple. So I'm sitting on it, just below the butt. Stay off the butt. Stay off the butt, because you'll find instant pain probably and discomfort and unlimited amount of knots in the butt, and we're not on that yet. So side to side. How far out, how far in do you go is probably a question people will be thinking. don't overanalyze this stuff, please. A lot of people very much overanalyze things. It's simple. If there's muscle tissue around about it and you're feeling pain and discomfort in the vicinity of the area that we're working on, go for it, knock yourself out, okay? If you go out to the very outside of your leg and you start getting them close to the side of the leg itself, okay, the outer side of your leg is in here, you're going to start encroaching onto the IT band. A lot of people will feel instant pain and a lot of pain and discomfort on the IT band if you start foam rolling it. And all my advice to you is, if you enjoy doing it, crack on. However, you're probably not able to inflict enough pain on yourself to foam roll the IT band to get anything from it, if that makes sense. Because all it is, it's a big bit of fascia, it's not muscle tissue, okay? It's like a big bit of tendon. Foam rolling it will feel like you're doing good because there's a lot of pain and discomfort. But like I say, you're probably not able to do it effectively, so stick to the actual muscle group. Try to stay within the kind of underside of your leg. Find that painful spot when you get it, side to side, back and forward, and just try and get that ball in deeper. Then get as much weight down on there as you can. Then what do? Contract, relax, contract, relax, contract, relax. And then I can do my smash and floss. Okay, smash and floss. Smash and floss, it's, again, don't overthink it. What way should I be moving my leg? Doesn't matter, does not matter, okay? You can do internal, external rotation. You can go up, down, where we twist if you like, move the feet around. Don't overthink it, there's no set way to do these things. If you do something and it feels like it's getting stuck into it a bit more, or it's feeling like you're getting a better stretch, or better foam roll if you like, whatever you're doing, then that's good. Just don't overcomplicate this stuff. But the first protocol should be, if you start to get a wee niggle here and there, just get on the foam roller or the lacrosse ball. Okay, so last few seconds, everyone. So, mobility work. For those of you with a sore bottom, as requested tonight, you'd think straight away, let's go straight to the bottom, let's go straight to the glutes, because that's the painful spot, and that's a mistake people often make. They go straight to where the pain is. Sure, the problem is predominantly where the pain is, but chances are in and around that area also is what's causing it. So by spending that bit of time there trying to foam roll the hamstrings, what we're going to do is create a bit more movement within the hamstrings, which is then going to free some slack upstream to, guess what? The bahookie. So your glutes are going to get a bit of, move your bench out the way. Your glutes are going to get the benefit from the hamstrings getting foam rolled and the flexibility work done in the hamstrings. Till or thick band, or double up your band if it's quite a thin one. We're going for the single best hamstring stretch, and you saw it here first. So I'm going to hook my band. I've always, of course, before the class, you're going to get your band and you're going to do your wee safety inspection, make sure there's no wee splits or anything. This band isn't going to take your eye out, you're not going to message me and try and blame me, okay, depending who it is. It might even make me giggle. Right, okay, so I'm going hamstring stretch, everybody. Woo! Best hamstring stretch you've ever seen in your life. So I'm hooking it around the ball of my foot. You know where the ball of the foot is, come on, behave yourself. So my legs, flat, straight. I'm going to grab the resistance band, get a bit of resistance on it, and I'm going to lie back flat. And I want you just to chill out the upper body first. It doesn't do you well if you're sitting like this. You're going to get tired, okay? Your core's going to get tired. So lie back. Pull the resistance band down. Make sure the toes are not fighting it, as in your toes shouldn't be pushing the resistance band, they should be getting pulled, which is going to help lengthen out everything from the calves all the way down to your hamstrings. Next up, checklist, is make sure that your knee is not bent, it's completely locked out here, and you should be pulling this leg back until you feel your hamstrings start to stretch. You're going to get to that point where your hamstrings feel like they're about to snap, and that's your starting point. Okay, so now I'm lying here and I start my system. I'm focusing on my breathing. That deep breathing is going to help the muscles relax a wee bit, and then I'm just going to take it another inch or two further back. Okay, that's going to create more discomfort. That's all that's going to happen. It's going to get more and more uncomfortable, but the muscles will relax and let you go further. It's very easy, like I say, to just lie here, hold that stretch and think that you're doing some good. You're doing good over someone that's doing hee-haw, but we're trying to make it better. We're trying to go further, so pull this leg back and keep that system going and keep your checklist going. Is my knee still straight? Yes. Is my toes still relaxed? Is my foot still relaxed? Yes. Is my other leg just lying completely flat on the ground? Yes. And that's all that I'm after here, everybody. Okay, so pull, 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 pull. Take it back further. Push the knee. And you'll be surprised probably how much further you can go and how much further you're potentially not. So just try to take it as far as you can. Oh, I've got a dog barking tonight. That's new. Don't hear that very often. Hear everything else. Right, okay, we're at maximum stretch here now, and we're going to ease out. I want you to sit up. Okay, you shouldn't really need to go and stand up and shake the legs out here, everybody, so change legs if you want to. Don't let me hold you back. So I'm going to hook the band around the ball of my foot. And all I want you to do, same again. You know it, it's exactly the same. I'm going to lie back. Get to the point. Some people, again, might be a way forward here. You might have a big 45-degree angle on your leg. If that's the point you're at and you feel a hell of a stretch in your hamstrings and you can't go any further, that's your starting point, okay? Other people that have been doing it a wee while, you should be able to get that leg right up. 90 degrees is what you're striving for to the ground. Checklist again, I'm pulling that resistance band down tight, my knee's locked out and my foot's relaxed. Do not let the resistance band cause your foot to start pushing against it. So the purpose of the resistance band here is it's helping lengthen everything out up the back of my leg, but also it's putting a bit of weight down. It's pushing that femur, as in my big long bone, up in my thigh. It's pushing it back in and resetting it into the joint while I'm stretching this out. So you take it further, you focus on the breathing, you try to relax into it. And the reason why you don't go too far too soon is because you'll just be shaking. If you've got it away back here, it's really uncomfortable and you're, it's a hell of a stress position. You're not relaxed, okay, and it's defeating the purpose here. So we need to be fairly relaxed. Take it a wee bit further and just keep that process going. Is my knee locked out? Yes, it is. Keep it going. Good, and relax there everyone, relax there. Right, don't throw that away, keep it nearby because we're probably going to use it again. Okay, so we've done the calves, well we've done the ankles, we'll say ankles more because it's more specific to the ankles. We've done the ankles, we've done the hamstrings, we're missing out the quads tonight, okay? I'm working on the big problem areas, the most common areas people are getting problems with, and it's the posterior chain, okay? As in all the muscles up the back end of our body we're going to be working for now. So now we're going on to the nasty, we're going to the glutes here, and we're going to use this. The glutes is a big muscle group. Now you can do this on the foam roller, but like I said before, to get the best out of it, you really want to use this because it's going to get in deeper and it's going to do a better job. So you're about to see it disappear. So before we go on to the next bit, your glutes, don't complicate it. You know what the glutes are, it's your butt. Don't try to look for a specific part. Just get the ball on the floor, and all I want you to do is you have to kind of lean onto the butt cheek that you're working on. And do just that. Get on the foam roll, get on the ball, sorry. Push some weight down, and just like before, I want you just do big circles. Explore the glutes themselves. Now, you're only going to be doing 2 minutes on each side here, so try and find the worst spot. For most people, if you look in, for most people, you'll find that up towards the upper glute area around here. That's where you'll probably find a lot of pain. You might find it further along here, but for most people, the upper glutes is what we're trying to get at, okay? If you're struggling for an area in general. So to get up there, I'm obviously going to have to get myself into this kind of position, okay? Now, this is where you might need to use your arms to support the weight of your body to begin with. For people with a lot of pain and discomfort in the glutes, if you try to put your full weight down on this ball, you'll find that your glutes just tense because it's uncomfortable. Your brain doesn't want you in pain. So you need to slowly introduce. So that's where, for me right now, I won't kid you now, I really have to kind of support my weight here. This is disgusting. But what I'm trying to do is slowly ease off this arm, so that's an improvement already. And now, I'm leaning up a bit more to get more weight down. Don't forget, side to side, up and down. Stay on that problem area. Don't lose it. If you lose it, find it and then get back into it. Okay, so I'm on there now. Putting the weight down. While I'm trying to introduce more and more weight, just side to side, up and down, little circles in the vicinity of the problem area. Okay, don't start doing the whole glutes now. The hardest part to do first is get as much weight onto this ball as you can. Think about the muscle. Is it truly relaxed? You probably realise that no, it's not. It tensed a wee bit. Okay, so try and think about just relaxing. Let the muscle tissue roll over the ball. Get as much weight on there as you can possibly handle, okay? But we must be in a relaxed state. You do it more, you'll be able to handle a bit more pain and discomfort. You'll get better at it. But you do this more, there'll be less and less pain and discomfort. So it's easy to contract and relax the glutes, okay? Just squeeze the butt together, squeeze the butt cheeks together, or just imagine you're at the top of a glute bridge. Squeeze the butt. Most people will know the motor skills to squeeze the glutes. So do that, squeeze, relax. And the idea is, each time you relax, you'll find that you're just able to put a wee bit more weight on, and it's probably pretty nasty. Please don't just sit there aimlessly, make sure you're actually working a spot. When you're contracting and relaxing, just keep making sure that you're still on the same spot of problem, okay? Because when you contract, relax, you might find that you roll off it a wee bit. So just make sure you're there. And now everybody, time to get the sick bag at the ready. We're going to do the smash and floss. I want you to now concentrate on the area that you're on. Keep the glutes relaxed. Now I want you to pull the knee up slowly towards you. Now this will look different depending on how you're actually sitting at the angle. Some of you might be more leaning on your side. Everybody's still conscious. So it's pretty disgusting if you're doing this right, okay? But what you have to make sure when you start lifting that leg up and that knee and start moving it around, you need to make sure that you're staying relaxed and you're staying on the spot of bother. And remember, we combine it all together. You don't have to do it in that sequence. Quite often or not, you need to do the pressure sequence first. But do it all at the same, but don't do it all at the same time, okay? Okay, so I'm breaking it up a wee bit, smash, floss. Okay, get stuck into it, side to side, up and down, more weight on it. Contract, relax, and that is one side done. Okay, now again, your glutes, big, well, depending on, don't take it the wrong way, a big muscle group, okay? It's a big muscle group. So we've got quite a lot of area. We only really found one spot and we spent enough time on one spot. So if you feel that there's a lot more work to be done, make that your priority. Think, right, 2 minutes, I'm going to find another spot. Get on there, whack. Now, we've done one butt cheek. I want you to stand up because this is a good test and it's an interesting point to present to you. I want you to stand up. If you've done this properly, well, regardless, I want you to do this next part, but if you've done this properly, this is where you're going to feel the difference. So I'm stood up tall and I want you to squeeze the butt and relax the butt. Squeeze the butt as if you're at the top of a glute bridge. And what you should feel is that the cheek that you've just foam rolled, the glute that you've just foam rolled, feels like it's contracting significantly harder and more effective than the one you've not. Okay, now don't stand there and go, yeah, I feel it, yeah. Okay, you might not, okay? But if you've spent the quality time needed and you inflicted a good bit of pain and discomfort on yourself, you should feel that. Now, that should be a lesson to you, okay? Now I'm going to change legs, change glutes. So that should be a lesson to you at how much untapped potential you've got there waiting to get unlocked. And that's the problem. People take, okay, and they never put anything back into their body. All they do is take, they ask so much from it, but they never spend the time putting a bit of goodness back into the body, and that's the way to look at this stuff, okay? It's not the most interesting thing. Your heart and lungs aren't exactly burning. You don't get the endorphins flying from doing a bit, well you might, depends who you are and what you're into, but you know, my endorphins aren't, I'm not like finishing a mobility class feeling like high-fiving all my friends that aren't here. And but you get the point. The mobility classes, 45 minutes to an hour. That does not mean that every time you want to do a bit of foam rolling or a bit of mobility or flexibility work, that it needs to be 45 minutes to, it takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes on each side, okay? The more you do this stuff, the more you'll start to learn your body. The more you'll start to know your own little problem areas, little painful spots, areas that need work, okay? Glutes, I'd probably say it's one of those areas that just constantly need working, because the glutes, big powerful muscle group, used and abused on a daily basis, okay? So you can see I'm not talking you through this anymore. You should know the system, you should know the techniques, and you should be employing them right now. So make the most of this, get it done. But think how better you could perform just from spending 2 minutes on each side for a wee bit, okay? Keep trying to get as much weight on that area. So in an ideal world, there's no pain and discomfort. That's what you're striving for, and I'm sure most people will probably be like me. You're a long way off of that, okay? You've got a lot of pain and discomfort in these muscle groups, but the idea is there shouldn't be any pain and discomfort, okay? Muscle should be nice and supple, you should be able to glide freely, the skin should be able to glide freely across the surface of the muscle tissue. But unfortunately, again, take, use and abuse. The body's got a wonderful way of dealing with that, okay? But eventually, sometimes, something has to give. Right, your glutes are done. Grab yourself a mat, unless of course you've got one already or you've got a nice good bit of carpet. Okay, so we're going to do, I just call it the glute stretch. In fact, I call it the enhanced glute stretch, but to be fair, it's not the enhanced one anymore, it's the one we always do. It used to be the worst one. Now, yoga, etc., they've all got names for this, but you know, stretching the glutes, that's all you need to know. So all I want you to do, it'll be familiar to many, very good stretch. The mat here is for my back, pardon me, back knee, it's not for the front. So all I want you to do is get out 90 degrees with that front leg, it doesn't matter what leg. Get the leg out in front, pin that foot with a hand, get the weight onto it, and then all I want you to do is get up as if you're trying to do a press up with this leg across you at 90 degrees. So the reason I'm pinning this is because for many people, if you're pretty tight, that hip capsule, the glutes, etc. is pretty tight, you're going to find that foot wants to start drifting back. We don't want that, okay? We need to keep it at 90 degrees. Then next part is get the knee back down, keep it at 90 degrees, and then with that back leg, maneuver yourself so that you're squared off over your body. What I mean by squared off is you're pretty much kind of balanced central over it, you've got your weight over that leg. I'm going to move to the side so you can kind of see what's happening, because some people always ask what the hell are you doing with that back leg. So, I look like this, pin the foot, get the knee down, square myself up, like so, making sure I'm trying to keep that leg at 90 degrees, not 90 degrees, sorry, keep the shin, 90 degrees if you like. Now with this one, it's the glutes, but the hip capsule as well. Okay, you're going to feel it in the actual joint of the hip, and then bringing it down in a wee bit, and to the top of the leg. So with this one, depending on how tight you are, it might be very uncomfortable, or it might be all right. What you're trying to do is relax all your weight onto that leg. Imagine that you're just sinking into the ground. Think about the muscle groups. Are they all relaxed, or are you fighting this? We don't want to be fighting it. If you're feeling all right, as in you're feeling, yep, I can take this to the next level, get more weight down on it, and all I want you to do is get onto the elbows. Get onto the elbows, which is then going to allow you to push down into that leg that's below you even more, and just focus when you're breathing. If you can't handle it, as in you're down in this position now and you're shaking like hell, and it's like, whoa, go back out of it, Okay, it doesn't work if you're really uncomfortable and you're not relaxed. It's defeating the purpose here. You should be in the position I am now, but feeling like the whole muscle group's relaxed, your glutes, the hip joints sinking into the ground. And now, just for the last few seconds, what you can do is start pushing yourself down, in, lower to the ground. And this is where, again, think outside the box. It doesn't have to be any specific angle. All I'm doing here is keeping that stretch on, but just trying to look for little pockets of tightness and trying to mobilise that hip joint while I'm down here. Okay, nasty stuff this, but it's damn good and it's damn effective. Right, oh, ease out of that one gently. Okay, I'd like you to stand up, shake the legs out. Okay, you can crack a few squats if you like it slow pace, and if you've done that correctly, you'll feel if you do your squats, you're a wee bit lopsided because this leg and that hip capsule's now nice and free and freely moving, and this side is a wee bit tight yet. So let's get the next side done, everybody. Simple. I'll face you this time. So leg out. For me now, you're going to see that one leg is severely, well, not going to say severely, but for me, one side's a lot tighter than the other, this being my tighter side. So now you're going to see exactly what it looks like if you are pretty tight. So I will get into the position I ended in with that one, but it's going to take me a wee bit longer. Okay, so I'm up, and straight away, see how high the knee is this time, it's crazy high. Terrible, isn't it? So all I want you to do first is get yourself central over, then get that knee down, then fix your position. Don't let, so I can show you now what's trying to happen. Look at this bit of my leg. If I try and let it relax, it's going to start doing this. That foot starts sliding back and this knee starts sliding forward, and then I think, oh God, I'm good at this. Look how low I can go. Okay, I'll tell you now, I'm feeling nothing at all. So get it done right. So that's the big giveaway. If you feel that you're getting down real low and you're not getting much of a stretch, just check that this lower part of your leg is indeed pointing directly out to the side and it's not slid back or your knee hasn't gone forward. So I won't lie to you, I'm away up here and this is feeling like a hell of a stretch. Okay, so that's fine. Focus on my breathing. Okay, now that muscle group's starting to relax. I'm starting to try and sink that hip into the ground. It's still very uncomfortable, but I'm starting to relax into it. So now I'm going to try and put more weight down. I'm going to try and relax. Try to let the hips sink down towards the ground. Again, still uncomfortable, but I'm able to deal with it. I'm not going too far too soon. Now I feel that I'm probably ready to go down onto the elbows, so I'll test it. I'll go down onto my elbows. So now, nastier, but again, I'm able to deal with it. And that's why I keep saying it needs to do it gradually. See, I could have just gone down into this position at the start, but it would be so uncomfortable. I wouldn't be relaxed and I'd struggle to relax into it. Okay, so do it gradual. Down, more weight. But make sure that that hip joint is sinking into the ground and the muscles round about it are nice and relaxed. That leg that's thrown back behind you, nice and straight, you might well be feeling that in the groin, the hip flexor. That might be more uncomfortable than the front part. Just depends where you're tight, what you've been doing. Okay, and this is where the feel of these stretches changes daily. You know, if you went a big long run or you've done heavy squats the day before and you've done them properly and your glutes are pretty sore, this will be pretty nasty. Those of you with a sore butt, I do not expect you to be getting out of this stretch early. Yes, you. Right, okay, we're going to ease out. This was for you as well. How dare you, Margaret? There you go. I've even named and shamed you on the camera. I've stopped doing that as well recently because I was getting accused of victimisation. Right, we're done. On the glutes, that is. Where are we at? Let me have a quick think. But. We will tie it up. In fact, I tell you what. First person, fastest fingers first. What we're doing next is going to be one muscle group only, and then we're done anywhere you want. Okay, so far we've done the ankles, we've done the hamstrings, we've done the glutes. We can do the lower back if you like, because if you want to do more upper body stuff, we've done that on this morning's mobility class. So just watch the one before, mobility 52, because that's all upper body. So if I just answered my own question, lower back. Right, okay, grab yourselves, everybody, a bench, a sofa, a chair, you kind of need it for this one, okay? I'll very quickly go into this. Throw your mat away. Do not do this stuff on a mat, okay? You're looking for a hard surface. Remember, hard surface number 1 is your ball or foam roller. Hard surface number 2 should be the floor. If one of those surfaces is soft, you're not going to be crushing that muscle tissue very well. So, boom, I've got a bench. I want you, or a chair, or a sofa, anything, it doesn't matter. I want you to get right and close to it and get the legs up on top of it. So then I'm lying down. I've not done anything yet, okay? I just want you to see what you need it for so you can start getting set up. The purpose of this is, now all the weight is getting pushed down onto my lower back. It's going to help discourage overextension. Is everybody happy? In fact, I don't know why I'm asking a question. You should be happy with what overextension is now, surely. Lower back, if you put your fingers underneath your lower back in this position, you shouldn't be able to get your fingers underneath. If you overextend your lower back, as in arch it, you'll then be able to get your fingers underneath. That's what we call overextension. We do not want to be overextending what we call the lumbar spine. You don't want to be overextending that lower back for any part of this stretch. So as a result, as soon as you put this ball underneath the area I'm about to show you, make sure you feel a bit of tension on your core. That wee bit of tension doesn't have to be hit, okay? It's just enough tension to stop you arching your back, okay? Can't really show you in this angle, but we don't want to be doing that, okay? Because that's putting bad stress on my body. So let me show you. That here, that is overextension, okay? That Donald Duck bum that people seem to be striving for these days with a walkabout like that, it's bad, it's not good for us, okay? So we don't want to be doing that for this next part. So your lower back, the area that we're working on, if it's easier once you put the weight on the ball because you'll start to be able to feel where the pelvis is. So we've got the pelvis, the sort of border of the pelvis, okay, running up here. I want you to be above. So if you feel in where your spine is, you do not want to foam roll your spine. I'm telling you now, you do not want to be doing that. So whatever side we start on, I want you to start just off to the side of the spine, but just above the pelvis. Okay, and you'll feel that. You shouldn't feel like you're on the bone, but you'll feel like you're just to the side of the pelvis while lying back on the ball, and that's where we start. And all I want you to do is work from there along, what would we call it? What would we call it? The border of the pelvis, that's the wrong word. There's a better word for it, it might come to me. But working along there, along the border of the pelvis, okay? We don't want to go underneath, because that's us on the upper glutes. We want to stay above the pelvis. Okay, and that's where we work to out here. Okay, so let's go for it now. And when I say work, I don't mean go left to right, left to right. You start in the center, just off to the side of the spine. So there we go. Hand, look at my hand. It's not wrong to use the hand to move the ball. Okay, so I'm putting the weight on. Right, okay, right, I'm on the pelvis. I need to go a wee bit higher. Okay, I kind of think I'm there. That's the spine, I don't want to go there. Off to the side a wee bit. What you'll find is your quadris lumboris, your QL muscles. See right at your tailbone, you've got two big thick blocks of muscle tissue. Okay, that's what you're trying to get this thing on. So those, if they're pretty damn tight, might feel a wee bit like bone. Okay, have a wee wiggle, have a wee wobble around and just try to relax them. Now for a lot of people, if you tweak or pull out your lower back, it's quite often or not these big QL muscles. Well, they're not big, but they're meaty, okay? Those big, thick muscles that span off of your pelvis. So, what am I doing here? Same as always, but it's a very smaller area. So side to side, up and down, finding painful spots. Okay, I found one. Oh, yeah, I found one. You might need to go further out, and this is where what's the crest. That's the word, the crest of the pelvis, okay? I want you to stay on the top of the crest of the pelvis. Don't go underneath, you'll feel it. Okay, if you roll down, 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 you'll feel your pelvis. You'll hit your pelvis, and it won't feel, I wouldn't say painful, but it doesn't feel very nice when you start rolling the bone. You don't want to go underneath the crest of the pelvis. You want to ride along the top of it. Okay, now if you picture a skeleton, if you are indeed human, you should find that you can roll side to side, just up and down, but riding along the crest, the upper crest of that pelvis until you find pain and discomfort. Okay, I showed you the area when I was stood up there that you're working on from from inside to outside. If you do this properly, just like any other muscle group, you're going to find one painful spot and you're going to spend the next minute or two with me now working on that painful spot. So what do I do here? I'm keeping tension on my core, because what I don't want to do is exactly what I said before, and that's going to be a problem now because I've got the weight of my body on this ball. So it's very easy to start overextending the spine. We don't want to. We want to just keep enough tension on the core to stop getting that sort of inverse curvature of the spine and the lower back. So up and down, up and down. If you find pain, get stuck into it. You should be there by now anyway. You shouldn't still be exploring. Surely most people have found a bit of pain and discomfort. Okay, and I'm there. Side to side, up and down, getting as much weight down on there as I can. Contract, relax. It's quite hard to do, to be fair. Just you watch you don't end up hurting yourself by severely extending or flexing the actual spine itself. So keep the pelvis nice and neutral. Now, how do we smash and floss? This is where it's awkward, is in the sense of some people will get a great range of movement here, but the likes of me, I should maybe have moved a bit closer to the edge of the bench. Stay relaxed, don't let the spine overextend, keep the weight on the ball, and then I want you to pull that knee up. You can straighten the knee out, you can go out to the side. Again, please be careful with what position you're putting your body in. If you put your leg out to the side, the spine does not come with you. You don't start rolling round and twisting yourself into weird positions. Okay, so keep it nice and neutral. So some people might be able to get in a better position than others. It just depends what you've got your feet elevated up on, how high it is, etc. So if it's fairly low, you'll find you can get a good job of straightening your leg out, but if not, get it up. Don't overcomplicate it, okay? If it's not working for you, don't just aimlessly move your leg around. Right, we're going to change sides, everybody. So I don't even need to get up. Get the ball, get the hand underneath and switch it across to the other side. So, this is where I would suggest, keep your hand on the ball and just move it around, put a bit of weight on, move it around, put a bit of weight on. Identify these structures, okay? You've got the spine, you know what that is, okay? Most people should have one, and you should be able to roughly find out where it is. So stay away from it, as in don't go and put all your weight on it. It's not the end of the world if you do, but you don't really want to. And then move it up a wee bit. Right, there's that quadrus lumboris muscle he was talking about a minute ago. Okay, you'll feel it, it's a big meaty muscle. And then if you go down a wee bit, you'll feel the pelvis. So you'll feel the bone of the pelvis there. So we don't want to go underneath that because that's us starting to encroach on the upper glutes. We want to stay at the top of the crest of the pelvis. Okay, and then you get that. Okay, most people on those QL muscles will probably find a good bit of tightness, especially down towards the bottom of them. And that is where for you, you are keeping a bit of tension on your core. Don't let that overextension start to happen. Now if you're not, go out a bit, okay? Work along the crest of that hip until you find a bit of pain and discomfort. One thing you will notice, everyone, is the pain and discomfort feels different on different areas. Okay, so pain and discomfort in the calves and the likes of your triceps, that's a different kettle of fish, that's just sick. Okay, it feels a bit different depending on what area we're on. So don't just lie on the ball, okay? Make sure, you won't probably be able to pick it up on the camera, but I am just ever so slightly rocking side to side, up and down on a very kind of, I would say tender but very tight. Now these QL muscles, if you're on your QL muscles, they're big, thick muscles, okay? So you're gonna have to get a good bit of weight on and you're gonna have to really kind of work them. We've switched sides. We've done both sides of the lower back there. Cut it out deliberately because, you know, I want you to take as much time as you want on that area. It's a very important area. A lot of people need work, so take as long as you want and then pick this bit up now. So we've done the flexibility and mobility, we've done the mobility work on the lower back. Now we're going to do the flexibility side. Now this isn't lower back specific. In fact, this is a very damn good stretch. I just call it a banded spinal twist, if I'm honest with you. It sounds nasty. You're going to get a lot out of this one, okay? And how much you get out of it and where you get out of it is really dependent on you and how you're tight. I encourage you to watch me first because it's often done wrong, and it's often done wrong because people think they know what they're doing, start doing it, they don't see the key parts that I'm telling them and then they miss it out. So I want you to think along the lines of your hamstring stretch. It's exactly the same up until a point, so I'm going to get back. Now what I want you to think about is, you can see I'm doing my right leg, so whatever leg you're doing, I'm doing my right leg. I want you to go the opposite way, over to the left, Then I'm going to take my hand to grab the band, so I'm now one-handed. I'm going to get my hand and I'm going to twist while keeping this foot straight. Sorry, keep the foot pinned to the ground, keep the leg straight and the knee locked out. So the same principles as our hamstring stretch are applying in this position, but now I'm going to get this arm nice and straight and I'm going to twist. You might hear a pop, a crunch or anything, okay? If you're real tight and there's a lot of pressure to get released. I want you to come across, and your goal is to pin the opposite shoulder down, look the opposite way, while keeping that foot over this side, pinned to the ground. Now I'll very quickly, so that you can see on this side, don't worry if you've cracked on, but I'll show you just for those who aren't sure, what it looks like from the other angle. So all I've done, I've come across, my leg's pinned, I'm going to pull this band. There needs to be tension on this band to make this effective, okay? If you don't have a band, you've got a towel, you use what you've got, but reach for it, get a good pull on it, and straight away you're going to feel that running right up into the hip capsule, into the glutes, and then all I'm doing now is twisting away. And my goal is to get this opposite shoulder and my eye line across, pinned to the floor, and then you've got to try and find a relaxed state there, okay? You're going to feel this one. It's a very effective one, okay? You're going to be getting it all the way from the you're going to feel what feels like the IT band, spanning into the hip capsule, the glutes. You're going to get the lower back, those QL muscles, the obliques, the chest, the shoulders. Very effective stretch, this one. And you're also twisting from the upper back. So that's the thoracic spine as well. That's what I mean by this one, everyone. It's a very effective stretch. You might be here going, can I get my arm down? That's the point you hold it at then, okay? What you must make sure you're doing is don't break form. So I'm telling you to be nice and graceful. Nice straight arm, nice straight arm, straight arm. You get to a point in which you feel you're starting to break that. Hold it at that point. Don't then break form to get down to the ground. So I'm twisting and I'm twisting and I'm twisting. And I want you to relax, okay? I'm obviously looking at the camera just so I can talk to you and you can hear me, okay? Because it'd be very ignorant for me not to. So you're going to feel it, hip capsule. You're going to feel it into the glutes. You're going to feel it sweeping in to the lower back, and then you should feel the upper body. And that's where it's dependent on where you're tight, everybody. You can change arms, legs, both, I suppose, when you think about it. Or you can keep holding it. Because what I'm going to do on this next side is wrap the video up. Because it's a good mobilization drill, this one. So if you want to spend more time in it, good for you. So I'm lying back, I'm changing legs. Hamstring stretch, it applies as I go to the side, and that alone for a lot of people will feel pretty damn disgusting. So I've got this leg straight, my knee's locked out, I've got it pinned. I'm pulling the band, and then all I'm doing is bringing this arm nice and straight across the other side. Then you've got to try and achieve a relaxed state. So think about that hip capsule, relax, I want to sink, all the body just to sink into the ground. Now if you're able to achieve this position, move the leg a bit higher up, pin it down more, pull the band more, try to make it a better stretch, okay? So it's been a pretty full-on mobility and flexibility class tonight, but when I said full body, it never is full body. We can never achieve a full body mobility overhaul in an hour, never mind an hour and a half if it's nearly. But I've tried to focus on the key muscle groups. Ankles, okay, always tight. People always need work on their ankles. It's going to improve the depth in your squat without even realising it, okay? Then the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back. So we've spent a good bit of time on that posterior chain, to be fair, which is good. Good for everyone. Remember, if the problem area is, if you, for example, you pull your lower back out, spend time on the lower back, try to break up that tightness and that tension, but then go upstream, downstream of it. Don't forget the glutes. By working on the glutes, you're going to free up some slack that's going to feed into your lower back. Relax there, everybody. Go into the obliques. Free up a bit of slack to the side. That's going to feed in to the lower back. Hamstrings as well. That's going to feed into the glutes. So bear that in mind. If you do have a problem area, yes, put focus on the problem area, but don't forget upstream, downstream, and depending where it is, to the sides as well. Okay, because you're going to free up some slack that's going to feed in to the problem area and help address it in the first place, rather than just work on the problem area, make it feel a little bit better. but it's still getting pulled left, right and centre from the tightness round about it. Mobility and flexibility, it's simple, it really is simple. I talked you through it a lot tonight for people who maybe not done much of it or done any of it before. You can apply what we've done with the foam roller and the lacrosse ball to any muscle group in your body pretty much, okay? Sometimes you have to get yourself in weird positions, but you play around with it. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to know the different muscle groups. You don't have to know the bits that you need to go or the right places to go. Look for pain, look for discomfort, try to get an improvement on it. 2 minutes each side is all it takes to get a bit of an improvement if you do it properly, and that's all it needs. It doesn't need to be an hour and 15 minutes worth. I think that might be a record of mobility overhaul. So remember that. If you think, God, my glutes were the most painful thing I've ever done, that's your new problem area for the next couple of weeks. Think to yourself, right, I've got a spare couple minutes. I'm going to do 2 minutes each side, like he said, 4 minutes out my life. And the thing is, a lot of it you can do proactively. You know, if you're sitting at a desk working and you're having a wee bit of a brain fart, get down on that foam roller and boofed. Okay, right, let's think about that a wee bit more. Be proactive, watch Coronation Street and get your glutes done at the same time. Have a good night. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it, and that was a special one-off.